where we landed. We're 2 rows, the next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie high like we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Windward's where we landed. We're 2 rows, the next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie high like we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint, so we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now. Waiting for the opportune time to show them this new power of mine. Windward's where we landed. We're 2 rows, the next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie high like we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Windward's where we landed. We're 2 rows, the next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie high like we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Unplugged Unfiltered. I am Brian Clements alongside Bob Clements, and
are we related?
No, I don't think so. No, yeah,
you
but
have hair and I don't.
Well, it's slowly becoming
but
less.
It's not white.
Not yet. There's a lot of there. There's a lot of white in there, thanks to all of my kids. But
mine too.
Yeah,
that's why mine turned white.
Yeah, 100%. I am 90%.
And you're 90% of the reason my hair is white.
Yeah, so
because I'm only 32.
Yeah, well, that would be impressive because it means I was born before you were born.
Yeah,
so.
true. Well, you know what? It's the genetics.
The miracle of medicine, right? So, no, I am super excited, and for whoever tuned in last week, knows that this week is a part 2, which is something we've never done. We've never continued on a podcast previous one with a part 2. So
was it because I talk so slow that it?
Yeah, no, it was because we couldn't get through all of the information quick enough. And I will say that one of the things that we're going to talk about today are the responses that we got from people who watched the last podcast, and the response was huge. So super excited for that.
I should think about starting the company and doing this for real.
Oh, you should. I think that there's a good potential.
You think there's opportunity?
There is. So before we get too crazy into it, I'm actually going to, I realized that the camera has gotten shifted. And so I'm going to adjust the camera real quick, but Bob is going to talk about something incredible and awesome. And that actually is going to be his Fortnite career and the expansive knowledge he has with Fortnite.
So I was laughing with Brian. So I obviously have grandchildren, and one of Brian's children, his youngest, his son, has been trying to teach me how to play Fortnite, and I'm terrible at it. And I was laughing with Brian because his son's name is Silas, and Silas goes, "Papa, quit shooting me and learn how to jump." So that's basically the instructions I've had before. And if you recognize the theme song from Unplugged and Unfiltered, it is from a gentleman who wrote this theme song to Fortnite. And I wasn't aware of that. The other day I told Brian, I says, "Man, I love this theme song. What is it?" He goes, "Well, this guy wrote it. I think, did you get it like on Canva?"
Yeah.
It
was a free one on Canva.
And I told Brian tonight, I says, I don't know how many people play Fortnite. And if you are on here and you play Fortnite, God bless you. Yeah. Stop shooting your grandson and learn how to jump. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
Because that's my instructions. Okay. But
just
I told
jump,
Brian,
Papa.
just jump. And I told Brian, I said, I don't know who the gentleman is that did this song because it's only like 30 or 45 seconds. Or, I don't know what the loop is.
It's about a minute long.
Okay, but I told Brian, I said, I don't know how many people play Fortnite, but it's like millions.
Yes.
And it's a free game, but the people that own Fortnite, you said, made $4 billion last year on a free game.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's free. But if you really want to play it, you got to do some investing in it.
Well, I just looked it up here, and Fortnite has over 650 million registered players.
Okay. So as I told Brian, so we've been talking about entrepreneurship, and this gentleman that did this, Brian reached out to this gentleman who did this song to make sure that he was okay, and he gave Brian permission to use this as his
our intro.
Our intro. So we're good because from that standpoint, which is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But I told Brian, I said, you just need to reach out to this gentleman and say, look, make this a 3-minute song and let everybody that plays Fortnite know this is the coolest song in the world because it explains it starts Fortnite. I said, this guy's got a $10 million Apple Play, just make it happen at 99 cents a download.
Yeah.
So I don't know who this gentleman is, but you need to reach out to him and say, I know you've never thought about being an entrepreneur, but since that's all we do is talking about entrepreneurs, right? And I'd like to invest in you.
Yes, absolutely. Right? 100%.
I will promote this, and you give me 50 cents for every download that you get on this song. But I need you to expand it out to about 3 minutes.
Exactly.
And somehow tie Taylor Swift into it.
Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
Absolutely.
Which actually, not to spoil our next podcast, we're gonna deep dive.
Taylor, turn me down.
Well, I was just gonna say we were gonna actually do a deep dive into their podcast.
Our
just to try
language
to
is not coarse enough for.
We could change that. We can change that. So, no, but I'm super excited, and honestly, like I said, the artist, I'll reach out to him. I'll reach out to him this week and see if he's okay with us plugging exactly who he is.
25 cents to download.
That's
all I'm looking for.
You know what? I just want to see him succeed. I think that would be the coolest thing ever.
I love the song.
And then we'll take full credit for it.
As we always do.
As we always do.
It's like shoveling shit. They would be nowhere.
Yeah.
Cass and Mike would be nowhere.
They would not have been as successful as they are.
No.
If it wasn't for us. It has nothing to do with the fact that Gary V plugged them and was on like a 5-hour podcast, a live stream with
Gary V. Who's he?
I don't even know who is this guy. But no. But honestly, all of that goes into what we're talking about is selling and the death of a unsold dream part 2. And it's like the gentleman who created, and I'm so grateful that he created that sound.
It is an unsold dream.
And he gave it to on Canva for free.
Yeah.
And I will say he probably makes something from Canva because you have to have Canva Pro to have access to that song. But even that song right there is just worth my Canva Pro subscription.
I love it.
But anyways, and that goes whether it's that song, whether it's shoveling shit, is unless you start selling,
right,
it's an unsold dream, and the business itself is going to die. If Mike and Cass, I don't want to say if Mike and Cass didn't have Gary Vaynerchuk on
or us,
but if they didn't have him on National Shovel Day, first off, I wouldn't have ever met Mike and Cass. I would never have connected with any of the people that I've connected with through them if they didn't sell it to the people who they needed to sell it to. And they understood that maybe they didn't have that market right off the bat. They didn't have the people who, they didn't have the following that Gary Vaynerchuk has. But they did have the connection with Gary Vaynerchuk. And so what did they do is we need to sell this. You have the perfect audience for this.
Right.
We're going to mirror and match, because who they were on that, not saying that they were unauthentic, but Gary set the tone, and that tone stayed there even when Gary walked away, because he walked away a couple times during the
out of disgust.
No, out of probably 72 other obligations that he had for that 3-hour period. But he walked away. And when he walked away, they maintained
Right.
that, which kept the 5,000 people who were watching that live stream
Yeah.
there, because they mirrored and matched the energy that Gary set up. And Gary's very, very good at in a crowd or in a large environment, building that energy and getting everyone really kind of pumped up about what they're doing. So with all of that being said, is one of the things, and we had a comment, and it was a really interesting comment that is actually ties into that. But in a large setting, if you're selling to a group, right, do you find someone to mirror or match in that group, or do you try to get everyone to mirror and match you inside of a group setting? So let's say you're selling at a arts and crafts show, right? And I think you guys just mentioned that you guys went to not an arts and crafts show, but you went to like a show.
A show, and we spent $200 on things that were really cool things to open wine bottles.
Yeah.
And now that I bought them, they really suck. But the guy that sold them to me was great.
Yeah.
And I would probably go back if he had like pillows. I'd probably go back and buy a pillow from him.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were talking about that. Because it goes back again, is, you know, when you're doing a bigger meeting,
Mm-hmm.
you don't mirror and match. You have to understand that you have to create the energy. You have to create the energy. So I'm a speaker, you know, so if I'm in front of, I don't know, multiple hundreds of people,
yeah,
they're going to feed off of my energy.
Uh-huh.
So the first thing I do, Lo, is I start finding a few people before, as people are walking in, I always come into the room early, introduce myself, have some fun with them. But I'm looking for a few people that I can build energy off of.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
so you know, I don't stand up on a stage and talk. I tell people I'm down on the floor, I'm walking, I'm talking, I'm having fun. And then I go engage those people, because now they know me. They're comfortable if I walk up to them and I say, "Hey, Mary," da da da. We start talking about things like this. And then I hand her a microphone and she's answers some questions. And normally now they're excited because, you know, so that energy starts to build.
Yeah.
And what starts to happen in the room is now everybody's starting to build off of their energy.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, and so what I do is I create it when I come into a room. So I tell people, every speaker I try to teach to speak, I said, you got to be in the room early and you got to start making some connections with people. And not all the people you make connections with are ones you want to engage.
Yeah.
But you're going to find a few. Mm-hmm. Right. And they're going to have the energy that you need. And it may be a little bit of a goofy energy, but you don't care. But that's the one you do. And then you start, because when I do my opening, because you're setting everything up. And if I'm doing I do like half-day programs and day programs, but I'm just going to do an hour program. I'm going to be doing one. Your Triton Software is going to be at a meeting I'm going to be doing down in Prince Lake, Indiana here in another month or so. There'll be a few hundred people in the room down there, but you know, some of them I already know, so I know I can engage them because they've been in my programs before. But I'm looking for somebody that I can start having some fun with.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a positive way, in a good way, never to embarrass them. But then when they're on, and then all of a sudden everybody else, number one, they relax a little bit, okay, because they know that I'm not going to embarrass them.
Yeah,
and they know it's going to be fun.
Yeah,
and so, but that person then really helps me create that kind of energy that I need in the room. So let's take it back to selling. So if I'm selling and I've got, let's say I'm selling and there's 5 or 6 people in a room, I would always be in that room before everybody came in. I don't care if the person that's bringing the coffee in that has nothing to do with this meeting. Okay. I'm going to connect with that person.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to have a little fun. And they're typically, before the meeting starts, if that person's still in there doing prep for the room or for the conference or whatever, and they just may be the person that's bringing in the catering for this crazy ass meeting with 8 people that have suits more expensive than my house.
Yeah.
Right. So, but then I'm going to say, "Hey, Mary, I really appreciate what you did," and da 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 da. And then I'm going to say something that's going to be funny that Mary and I maybe talked about. And she's going to laugh, and I'm going to laugh, and everybody's going to start laughing. And it sets the whole tone for everything. Because I tell people, if I can get you to start having some fun with me, and I'm a salesperson, the moment you start laughing with me, we have 100% rapport.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, you just like me.
Yeah.
And you don't even know why. And I set it up from the moment I came into the room and I made that first connection with somebody that I could start connecting with, that you knew, Mary or Bill or whoever's doing it. You know them. I didn't know them, but all of a sudden I had a connection with them because I got to talk to them on a kind of a fun way before anybody got in there. So again, I always show up for everything early.
Yeah. Well, and that's something that again is building that connection, building that rapport. And then like you said, and I think one of the most important is for me, it's the connections to the 10th degree, like going back to connect the dots, right? Is you might not know Mary, or the person sitting next to someone might not know Mary, but someone might know Mary, and they're like, oh, yeah. And then they start laughing. And then the person that they know who doesn't know Mary, but knows the person who knows Mary, it builds this excitement, and it builds this fun attitude. And I see that a lot. And on the sales side, and this is entrepreneurial, but as a sales side, and a little different sales side than what we talked about last week, is in the TikTok streaming world, right? Is I will get into a TikTok, a live stream, and I'll be watching a live stream, and there's some of them where it's just like, oh my God, this is so boring. And I scroll within 5 seconds. And then you get into one, and I'm definitely going to plug this person, which is Big Deck, fun. But every time that someone comes in, he's like, hey, what's up? Thank you so much for, and you're like, yeah, I'm part of the team. I'm
glad to be here. I'm excited. Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's the key.
And then you buy from him, and on TikTok, you're giving gifts, but you're like, I'm part of the team. Yeah. And then you give like a rose, which is worth a penny, actual value. Like you pay a penny. He's like, dude, thanks so much for the rose. And you're like, yeah. And then someone sends something that's worth like $600, and he's the same excitement. And you're just like, it just makes you want to buy that product. Now that product for them on the TikTok streaming side is them.
Absolutely.
They are the product, but we have, go ahead.
No, it's like we talked about last week. I tell people don't buy products and services, they buy you.
100%.
And the biggest mistake that I see people in sales make is they think, well, I'm here to sell XYZ.
Yeah.
And they go, no, you're here to sell you.
100%. Okay.
Once they buy you, whatever you have comes with you.
Yeah.
So it's easy.
Yeah.
The biggest mistake salespeople make, number one, we talked about last week, is don't try to be a salesperson, because people hate salespeople.
Absolutely.
And salespeople suck.
Yeah.
Be you. Okay.
Yeah.
Just be you. Right. And the other piece again is understanding now your job is to sell you.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm in front of people who are very straight laced or whatever, and I'm never in front of those because they don't invite, they don't pay me to come to meetings for engineers.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
But I get paid pretty well to speak. But I said, but they're paying me, number one, to entertain their people. I always tell this to speakers, and to entertain people, I got to get them having fun.
Mm-hmm.
And if I've got 300 people in a room and I've got 1 hour to make them have fun, then I've got to start engaging the people I'm with.
Absolutely.
And I don't engage them when I'm getting ready to start, but 15 minutes before everybody else is coming in the room. And I've got those 10 people out of the 300 that came in early because the other workshop sucked.
Yeah.
Right. And they were having coffee and a donut, and they happen to come into mine a little bit early. I'm already there. I'm set up, ready to go. And I'm there because I want to start engaging them, having some fun, and then I can pull them in to do it. But whether you're in a boardroom, whether you're talking to investors, it doesn't make any difference, right? You got to match what you're doing, but understand that people like to have fun.
Yeah.
And if they don't, screw them. You don't want to do business with them anyway. People like to have fun, and it's your job to create that energy. But most of the time, you can create the energy by pulling in some other people. To do it.
Well, absolutely. And that was something going back to years and years and years ago when I was performing with my first band that I was ever in, which was,
and you guys sucked.
Yeah, we were not great, but
well, you had the potential to be. I'm just going to tell you, as a motivational speaker, you had the potential. You just didn't reach it.
You just didn't. Yeah, the joys of a high school band. But
it wasn't you. It was really all the people that you surround yourself with.
Yeah. It was never me. I was always perfect.
You were. Yes. Okay. We'll run with that.
We'll go with that. But one of the things, like when we were doing like battles of the band, right, is you have all these bands, and they might be a really, really good band, but they're standing up there and they're performing. One of the things that we always did is we always would play, like right at the very beginning of a set would be like Lean on Me. And you'd be like, okay, everybody knows this song. You lean on me when you're not strong. And I need you to put your arm around the person next to you.
Exactly.
And we're going to all rock back and forth. And here are the motions that we're going to do. And then from that point, everyone was so comfortable with the people around them that they had so much fun. They became, instead of being multiple groups of different people, like, oh, these 2 people came together, these 3 people came. Now I have 150 people for, like this battle of the band, or 1,000 people, whatever it is, that are now, they all came together.
Absolutely.
And that drove so much energy to our concerts that we would
They're
do.
all part of your team.
Oh, 100%.
None of them know you.
Yeah.
And you don't know any of them. And they don't know the person that just hugged. And most likely they'll be arrested for doing it.
Yeah.
But that's the whole game, Brian. I mean, it's building that relationship, building that rapport. And I think, again, in sales, I always try to tell salespeople, the sale doesn't take place out here until it takes place up here.
Yeah.
The biggest mistake salespeople make is they don't understand that selling is a mental process, not a physical process. And so that's what, like we talked about last week, about the mirroring and matching. The first thing you have to do is become like the people you're with.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use an example. So if I got Bill or Mary in there, and they're bringing in the coffee urn and the pastries and all the stuff like that for some board meeting I happen to be a part of.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and I said, is there anything I can help you with, or whatever? And I said, no, you don't have to do anything. I said, no. I grew up on a farm. I'm used to working. They go, oh, you grew up on a farm?
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to do is find a connection with them to let them know that I'm not afraid of work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? And then I said, well, let me help you with that, or let me get this. And all of a sudden I'm helping them, working with them, but now they're relaxing.
Yeah.
And then we can start having a little bit of fun. We can have, like I say, if you're there 15 minutes early, which I always am a minimum 15 minutes early.
Yeah.
But I can start building some relationships, and then I can leverage that, because now they like me.
Yeah.
Okay. And if everybody walks out of the room and says Bob sucked, at least the person that brought in the coffee and the Danish.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I kind of like Bob.
Yeah. But now I'm going to spit in your food.
And I'm going to encourage them to. If they don't like me, I'm going to say, you know what, that's actually a great strategy.
That's a great strategy.
But I think that's the thing. I think in sales, and I tell, it's like you and I talk. You have a dream.
Yeah.
And every entrepreneur has one, but somebody has to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, I mean, the whole thing is, you don't let your dream die because you didn't sell it. And I think a lot of people that are uncomfortable with sales, again, they forget the fact that it's not the dream that you're selling, it's you that you're selling.
Yeah.
And if they like you, they buy the dream.
Absolutely.
And so how do you sell yourself?
Yeah.
How do you get people excited about you? And then I always tell people, again, the number one thing you have to understand is people are emotional, not logical. You can't out logic emotion. And that's, in sales, they teach people to sell logically, which is a stupid idea. And so people buy emotionally, and the number one thing you have to do is you have to be excited. So you have to be excited about your dream.
Yeah.
And you can't come off and say, Brian, I'm really excited. We have some software.
I'm really excited about my dream.
We have some software that's going to revolutionize the industry out there, and you're going to be excited too. People go, holy crap, I don't know what you're excited about, but I don't want to be a part of that deal. And this kind of goes back, Brian, in sales. So when I teach salespeople, I said there's a thing called congruency.
Mm-hmm.
And in sales, congruency is my words, my tone and pace, and my body all match.
Yeah.
And your goal in sales is to, when you're talking to somebody about an idea or concept, to be totally congruent. So what the words that come out of my mouth, the tonality of what I say, and my physical body matches what I'm doing. So I could sit there. I was laughing because you were sitting there shaking your head. And I go like, oh my God, you're going to love this. And I'm going like, oh my God, 55% of everything you just communicated just through your body physiology. And you just told me when I said, oh, you're going to love this. And I'm sitting there going like, holy crap, I am not going to love this at all. So I just laugh with salespeople. When I'm working with salespeople, I have salespeople saying like, oh yeah, we're really excited about this new product we have. And I go like, you said the right words, you said with the right tone, but 55% of what you just communicated to me was like, no, I suck. You should never do business with me.
Yeah.
So I teach my salespeople, say, if you're saying you're really going to be excited about this, or I'm really excited about this, for God's sake, shake your head up and down and go, don't do this, do this, right? And then go, I'm really excited about this, and move your body in a way that would demonstrate excitement. I don't care if you're sitting down. I don't care if you're on a Zoom meeting, right? If you're saying, we're really excited about this new Triton software, it's going to revolutionize the industry, then damn, have your hands out there like this and go, we're really excited about this, because people go like, well, damn, he seems to be excited.
He's really excited.
And they don't think about it consciously. I always tell people it's the subconscious you're trying to tap into. in
Yeah.
sales. That's the biggest mistake people make. You don't understand the subconscious mind controls the conscious mind.
Yeah.
It's not the other way around. What you think subconsciously ultimately is who you are.
Yeah.
Your habits are not a conscious thing, they are a subconscious thing.
Absolutely.
Right. And so when you're selling, you're saying, okay, how do I tap into Brian's subconscious? Well, you do it with the words you say. Okay, you do it with the tonality of your voice. But more importantly, as I said last week, 55% of all the communication that happens between two people happen because of how your physiology is, how your body and their body interact.
Yeah.
And if you're not excited, then my job, right, is to lead your body.
Absolutely.
As we talked about that last week, that leading and pacing is to lead your body into that position.
Absolutely.
And many times you have to a little bit over exaggerate, because people say like, wow, that person exaggerated. You have to over exaggerate a little bit more than you're probably comfortable with. But for somebody that's not there yet, that kind of pulls them over that edge and to do that. So again, it's really about, again, selling yourself. If you're excited about the dream that you have, whatever it is, and I'm just telling you, if it's a decent dream, somebody will buy your dream.
Oh, absolutely.
And somebody will buy it enough to make you profitable.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's a stupid dream, call Brian and I, and we will try to connect you with the person that does a theme song. For here. But it won't be. I mean, if you've thought about it, you go like, oh gosh, Bob, I really think this would be a cool idea. And there's a lot of people that have been thinking about it, then it's a good dream, right? Your thing is now, how do I sell it to somebody that's going to buy it from me, or somebody's going to invest in it to do it?
Absolutely.
But again, you got to have that excitement. You got to have that passion, whether you're on a Zoom meeting, whether you're on a phone call, if you're face to face, you got to do that. And it honestly, people say, well, it's acting. Go, well, congratulations, welcome to sales.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to steal from you, but I am going to a little bit over exaggerate it, because I have to over exaggerate it to get you kind of tied into it, and that's the key to it.
I mean, and acting, the reality of it is acting is such a massive part of entrepreneurship. Now, I just saw Mike Lazaro just posted a thing, and he goes, do you feel like you're an imposter? Well, every entrepreneur has to fake it until they make it. Right?
Absolutely.
But I'm going to believe in that with everything, and I'm going to sell it, whether it's even come to fruition or not. I'm going to sell it with, I believe in this. I'm super excited. You should be super excited. I'm going to shake your hand and be like, I'm a big dog entrepreneur, even if I'm not a big dog entrepreneur, because I believe in what I'm doing.
You better. Well, it's kind of goes back to acting. I mean, we've all watched movies before, and we know they're a freaking movie.
Yeah.
Okay. And the next thing you know, you're starting to feel bad for the person that's getting hell beat up.
Yeah.
It's a movie. Yeah. They're an actor. This isn't real, but they are so good at tying you into their emotions. I mean, that's what these guys are. Really good actors, right? These are the people like Chris Farley's and I love Chris Farley. He passed away now, but I used to be a big Saturday Night Live fan until they screwed it all up and got stupid people in there. But you take these actors that are really good actors, and I think about I'll use John Wick as an example. Because I shouldn't love John Wick movies, but I love them.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I know there's going to be a big in fights, and somehow he never gets shot.
Yeah.
Right? But again, you think somebody like him that does that, you get pulled into that character. He's so good at what he does, and they're selling. I mean, that's what they're doing. So an actor is selling this image of this person, and you may cry about that person or whatever. It's not real. They're so good at what they do. And I tell people that's what it is. They know how to tap into your emotions. Good actors know how to do it. So you got to do the same thing. Right? Now if you got people crying in your demo, probably a bad thing.
Or you're really good.
Unless you're selling funeral plots or crematory kind of things.
They're like, oh my God, this is so life-changing. I never, why is it taking so long?
I want them to be happy and excited and want to spend money with you. But it's kind of the same thing again. And I think people think, well, that's, that's not what it's about. It is what it's about. Right? People are not logical. They're emotional. And what you have to be is a little bit hyper emotional. Not crazy, but you got to go over the edge just a little bit. And that's the thing that pulls them into it. And it kind of goes back to, we talked about that mirroring and matching. I know you had somebody talking about, they were looking at what what tool are they using? That's a AI bot that lets them see their
Yeah, we
words
use
per minute.
we use Firefly AI.
Uh,
And with that Firefly AI, I had someone reach out and was like, well, I never even thought about looking at my words per minute when it comes to my conversations. And they went back and looked at the words per minute, and they realized that with some people, they talk at 170 words per minute. With other people, and the people they're talking to talk at that 160, 150, 160, 180 kind of word per minute phrase. And then they also noticed that some of the people that they talk to that they are not super engaged with, they're like, well, we have a meeting, but I don't feel like they really have. They're talking at 170 words per minute, and the person they're talking to is talking at 80 words per minute.
Exactly.
And then you go, okay, well, why is there not a connection there? Well, that'd be like you talking how you talk, and I go, well, Bob,
There you go. Oh my God, we're never going to do business, Brian.
So excited about what we're building.
Yeah.
And I like, oh my, just
Please,
something.
no.
But you do, there's certain people like, and I deal with that with what we're building with Triton, is there's certain people that I talk to, and it's just like, okay, we're going to slow this down. Right.
Absolutely.
And even people in my company, like I have my chief administrative officer, right? She's great. But our communication styles are a lot different. I talk very, very, very fast, and she tries to keep up, but it creates a lot of frustration.
Right.
And so I have to realize it's like, okay, so this is what I need you to do.
Exactly.
And I need it done in this way, at this time frame, at this. And it feels unnatural for me to talk like that because I talk very fast. My brain processes faster than my mouth can process. And so if I don't talk fast, then I lose train of thought of what I was actually going to say. So it's just kind of like word vomit, but it works. But I've really found, even like specifically with employees, is taking, okay, we're going to slow this down. We're going to have a conversation, and I'm going to make sure that I communicate in the style, because if I don't communicate in the proper style, then that affects the outcome. And I can't blame the person for not catching everything. They're processing it at 100 words per minute, and I'm speaking it at 170 words per minute.
Right.
Might as well give them a fire hose and say, hey, take a drink.
Right. Well, and this kind of goes back to that whole concept of mirroring and matching. So if you change how your body physically is, it changes the tone and the pace of your voice. So if you're in a meeting with somebody, let's say you're in a meeting with an investor or potential retailer who's going to take on your product, and they're talking slower and you're talking faster, you just have to be tuned into that. So, okay, I'm outpacing their speech.
Absolutely.
And you may not have an AI agent that can sit there and say, hey, damn, Bob, you need to slow down. But you can tell it because you watch their eyebrows. Remember we talked about that last week?
Yeah.
So if their eyebrows are up and now you're talking and their eyebrows are either neutral or going down,
slowly fading.
You are slowly fading. And so I tell salespeople, so if you're outpacing their speech pattern, stop, lean back in your chair, lean back, because most likely you're up here, which makes you want to be faster. They're lean back. Okay, you need to lean back. And this goes back to the mirroring and matching. And if you lean back and you mirror and match them, literally your pace and your tonality will start to match theirs. So you just have to be aware of those things. Like I say, there's not always AI agents that can say, hey, Bob, slow down. Too fast here. But as we talked about last week, if you just learn to watch people's face, their face is like a computer screen, and everything I need to know about you, you're giving me the cues. I'm just oblivious to them because I'm so damn excited about selling. And I tell people, you've got to be excited about communicating. Right? If they buy in. And the other piece is if you're really different than they are, when you're done with the meeting, you're going to be exhausted. Because you spend a ton of energy slowing yourself down. I always tell this the same thing with like personality types, the drivers, influencers, studies, and thinkers. I'm a driver influencer, so I'm a kind of a type A to this, but I have a lot of people I work with that are steady, compliant, things like this. And I can have great conversation with them. They're part of my team. I can do it. But when I'm done, I'm exhausted.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I had to spend so much energy to change who I was. was.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the key again. It doesn't matter who you are. You've got to become like them.
Yeah.
Okay. You've got to become like them. So when you're done, you may have just done a meeting with a big potential buyer and you walk out and go like, oh my God, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Well, it's because you were changing yourself subconsciously
Yeah.
to become more like them. And it took a ton of energy for you to make that shift.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's other people, when you get done with the meeting, it's kind of like when you and I get together, because you and I personality the same way.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, this is great.
Let's
Let's
go.
get you on. I can spend an hour, I can spend 2 hours talking with you, and I go like, okay, that's great.
Let's do something else. Let's go.
Because I don't have to change anything about who I am, because you and I have a lot of the same process.
Oh, 100%.
So,
Yeah.
So we're like that. So that's the piece again. You have to understand. You got to make that adjustment there. And again, people buy you.
Yeah.
Once they buy you, everything that you have come with you. But so as the gentleman was talking about, looking at the pace that he was getting out there, the people he didn't connect with, right? He was speaking faster, according to AI, and than they were. And if he'd have simply made some adjustments quickly, and again, you don't have AI sitting there going, hey, you need to slow your speech down a little bit, but just be tuned into it. Right? Just be listening, watching how they're engaging. If they're leaning back, you lean back. If they lean forward, you lean forward. Mirror and match, move with them. And you're going to find that connection happens.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, though, is you've got to understand that it is work. It can become more and more natural, but it can be, and it is exhausting, adjusting your own style to match that. But to do that, that's how you get that sale, right? It's like I built that relationship, and I've done it a lot in building my network. Is I've mirrored and matched a lot of people to build my network, and it can be very exhausting. But at the end of the day, my goal was to build my network. And so you put it in, you focus on it, and once you get, it gets easier the better you get at it. But I would encourage people is, if you are a starting out entrepreneur and you're not 100% how to sell, what I would encourage you to do is to record yourself selling yourself something. Okay. And then the first time, go back, turn the phone around and listen to the audio, listen to the words that you're saying, how you're speaking, the speed that you're speaking. Right. Do that. The next time that you do it, turn your volume all the way down and just watch how you're talking to that camera.
Right.
It's just saying, okay, I'm talking a lot with my hands. Become self-aware, because if you don't actually analyze what your style is, it's hard to adjust your style, because you might go, oh, I'm talking just like they're talking, but are you? And so you have to do some studying of yourself, I think, to become even a better salesperson.
I would agree. And I think, again, just as let's say as you're watching TV, you can practice this all the time. I don't do it so much anymore because I've been doing it for so long. But when I was first learning some of my skills 35 years ago, I was traveling in airports all the time, and I would watch people. So I'd be sitting in the waiting area because I wasn't classy enough to be in first class or go to a Sky Club. Now I don't sit in waiting areas. But I would say again, but I would sit there and I'd watch people talk, and I would just watch them, and I'd watch how they interact with each other. And I was trying to learn, okay, are they visual audit? Remember we talked about last week, are they visual, auditory, kinesthetic? Are they a driver, influencer, steady, or thinker? I would watch people and watch their expressions. Sometimes I could hear what they were saying, but many times I couldn't. But I was starting to read people. And I think that's the most important part of selling. It's not what you're selling, it's your ability to read a person and how they're reacting to what you're doing. When I speak, I'm constantly, I don't think about what I'm going to say anymore, because I've been doing it for so long. When we're going to be doing a new meeting that you're going to be out with down there, and there's some new things they want me to do. So, I'll spend quite a bit of time working through my flow and all my stuff like that. But when I get ready to speak, I know what I'm going to say. And I don't have it scripted perfectly. I'm pretty good at speaking. But what my goal then is to start interacting with my audience. And if they're not quite where I need them to be, then I need to change what I'm doing a little bit, get them up, I'll get down and walk around. But, my goal, I interact with my people. I don't expect them to be where I'm at. Because I'm coming in at a pretty high level because I get paid to speak. Right. But if they're not quite there yet, then I'll slow my pace down a little bit. I'll walk around a little bit, have some fun a little bit,
Yeah.
but then I'll start working my pace back up, because ultimately at the end of a 3-hour workshop, I got to have these people on their feet clapping, go like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing I ever heard.
Yeah.
You need to pay this guy as much money as he asked you to pay before and bring him back next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Because that's how I get my gigs, right? I mean, people are so excited to say, okay, I want to have Bob back again. You know? And that's how you do it. So anyway, but that's the piece of it. You got to be trying to tune into your audience. And it could be a one-on-one, Brian, on a Zoom meeting, or it could be face-to-face with a group of people in the boardroom. And there's so many different variations, but you got to really be tuned into people.
Yeah.
And just understand it's not complicated. Mirror and match, lead and pace.
Yeah.
I had a person the other day say, well, if we got two people together and you're mirroring and one of them is connected with you and the other one's not, what do you do? And I said, well, don't worry about the one that's connected with you. Stop mirroring and matching them.
Yeah.
Start mirroring and matching the person that's not connected.
Yeah.
They go like, well, what happens to the one that's connected? You'll get it back just like that.
Yeah.
Because they're already connected with you. So if you got two people there and one person's got their arms crossed, the other person is moving forward and leaning forward.
Yeah.
I said, then stop leaning forward and moving forward to the one. You're already connected with them subconsciously. You can get them back in a millisecond.
Yeah.
What you should do is lean back, cross your arms and say, so Brian, tell me what you're thinking right now.
Yeah.
Right. And then when you do it, you'll see their eyebrows go up a little bit and all of a sudden their arms will come across. And now I'm starting to work them.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I got two people that I'm trying to work at the same time, because they may not be together.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right? But again, so I would, so once you've got one, that one that you got's easy to get again. You can get them right back like that. So change how you're doing and then mirror and match the one that's not connected with you, get them connected. Then the next thing you know, you've got both of them connected and you're going to get a sale.
Yeah. Well, and it's again, it's paying attention. It's people watching, right? And then adapting to that. It's I think it's great. And one of the questions, and this was a question that came up, and so what happens and how do you mirror match someone? And so this was someone that streams heavily on Twitch, on TikTok, actually going to be one of our potential guests coming up soon. They've done very well for themselves on the streaming platform, but he had asked me, he goes, how do I connect with my audience when I cannot see them and I cannot hear them? So, if you're on TikTok, right, I can't see what they're doing. I can't hear them. I can see some comments, but how do I engage?
So that's a great question. So, and we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah. And for that was a great. We'll see you guys later.
So that person, he or she, has to understand that the people that are following them love how he already interacts.
Yeah.
Don't change what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, if you're Eddie Murphy as a comedian, who's one of my favorite comedians, don't freaking change being Eddie Murphy. There's going to be 15% of people go like, Eddie Murphy sucks. And I'm going to go like, okay, well, you should go someplace else. I love it. I love Eddie Murphy. So again, that's a little bit different there because he's a performer.
Yeah.
So I see people on TikTok as performers.
Yeah.
They're speakers like me.
Yeah, absolutely.
People that have me come in and speak at their conventions, and I've been doing it 40 years. They know they may not know me. They've seen enough of me on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to ever embarrass them, but they know my energy. They know how I speak and stuff like that. So I don't want to change that because that's what they bought.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And so I would say if you're a streamer, right, God bless you.
Yeah.
Okay. But don't try to change. You've got to be you. Don't be more. That's what people bought into. That's why people follow you.
Yeah.
So it's a little different. You're not selling the people that already follow you on continue follow. Just they're gonna stop following you if you change.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
So again, what you're gonna attract is more people like them, which is what you want.
Absolutely.
Right? People that like people like them. Again, people like people who are like themselves.
Yes.
Okay. Number one rule in persuasion: if you want to persuade somebody, become like that person.
Yeah.
Okay, you have an audience on TikTok. It's like you with what your TikTok channel is. You have an audience. They know who you are. They know what you do, right? They know that you raise crazy exotic animals.
Yeah.
That nobody should spend time raising because they're absolutely good for not eating. You can't eat them, right? But anyway, but people that follow you on your TikTok thing understand who you are and what you do, and so you're not trying to get different people. You're trying to get the people that are already excited about you to say, hey, you need to follow Brian, you
Yeah.
need to follow Bob or whatever. That's kind of that word of mouth thing there. So I would say, again, I think it'd be silly if you're doing well on TikTok
Yeah.
to change. Keep doing what you're doing. It's kind of like Joe Rogan. I don't know if you've ever heard of him or not.
No,
He's got a small podcast.
I feel like I heard it.
I was listening. I love Joe Rogan.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely.
And I was listening to him the other day, and he was laughing about when he started out. I was trying to think who he had on, but he said, yeah, my studio was in my house. And it was Graham Hancock, who's a great speaker, a guy. It's kind of, he's kind of more in the archaeology side. I love history. So he's kind of in that. It's kind of the archaeology that nobody believes in, but I believe in.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, so he said he had him on, and so he invited him into his studio, which was in his basement. And he said, I had 100 followers at that time on my YouTube channel. And he flew in from England to do this podcast. Now he was already there, but he came in.
Yeah.
And they said, and I treated him to pizza in my kitchen with my wife. And they were all laughing on this show because I don't know how many followers he's got.
No,
but you know, but the thing about Joe Rogan is Joe Rogan is Joe Rogan. He's not changing himself. And I don't know how many. I love him, so I'm one of his followers. But I would just say again, it's kind of the same thing. He's not trying to adapt to his audience. He has an audience. He has a following, and everybody. I mean, I got connected with Joe Rogan because somebody said, "Oh my God, you got to listen to Joe Rogan."
Yeah.
You know, and I said, I listened to him and go like, okay, I really like this guy. Right?
Absolutely.
He has so many different guests on, but it's kind of like that. So I'd say if you're on TikTok or you're doing things like that, you built your audience because of who you are.
Yeah.
Don't change that. Be who you are.
Well, and it's really interesting because like you were talking about, so I went from being Jurassic Farms on TikTok, and I have recently made a big shift in my TikTok. I changed my name on TikTok, my content.
Because of legal things?
Yeah. 100%. Now, because I keep getting banana. And so I had to try something different. No, but I wanted to promote a different product of that we sell, which actually is this podcast. Like I wanted to switch from making fun videos, and I still make the fun videos. I have a video of this new chicken that we call McNugget sitting on my lap.
Is this telling me what their lifespan is going to be?
This McNugget.
McNugget
is about that big, and I am surprised that he's not any bigger. He's, I don't know, probably got to be.
Okay, you raised him with baby ducks.
I did.
He doesn't even know he's a chicken.
I did, yeah. Well, that was an accident. Those were eggs that we didn't realize that were under a duck, and now we have a lot of.
We have a chicken that thinks it's a duck.
Yeah, but so I still put out fun videos about like, and he's a frilled silky, so he's very poofy. He's a tiny little chicken, and so I still put those out. But by changing it is I am changing my social media to mirror and match the audience that I am going after now.
Right.
And so I would say that one of the things that I have found is, and again, we talk about all the time, TikTok is the best testing ground for anything. But if you go,
pray Donald Trump keeps it moving forward. So Donald, if you're listening, don't give up on TikTok. Keep it moving forward here.
Well, and I think the reality of it comes down to is if you're not getting the results on TikTok, on social media, if you're not getting the following that you want to get, change it up a little bit. And not saying you don't have to be authentic, but change your communication style.
Right.
If you're sitting there and you're like, I'm a TikTok gamer.
Yeah.
And it's so, I love this game is the best. Like change who you are, and it's like, you have to adapt and you have to adjust. And
so I think you've got scheduled a gamer that's going to come on that's built an incredible following.
Yeah, he's done okay for himself.
Okay, and I'm saying, and I don't know a lot about gaming.
Yeah,
because my grandson has sworn me off of Fortnite. But I'm just saying,
Papa.
I'm just saying again, this is going to be a good example of somebody who has built something out of nothing.
Yeah,
and I don't know how many followers does he have. All I'm saying again is it's fun to watch him. He's excited. he's playing a freaking game and you're watching it, but it's entertaining as he's commenting and as he's doing things like this. And I don't know, but I know you've got him scheduled to be on with us.
Yeah. Let's see here. We'll see.
He's got more than 100 followers.
I mean, he's done okay. He's sitting right now about 24 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
24 million followers. So he's going to be on one of our podcasts.
Yeah.
Just as an entrepreneur. I mean, this is a money machine for
it
him
is,
now.
Well, but it goes back again is he is selling his product. And this is the true, and the reason why I brought up that question and the reason why I thought it was a great question is because this goes back to people buy people,
exactly,
not products.
Exactly.
They at that point 100%. They're not selling a product. Like you don't get anything for buying a paid subscription to watch them or to support them with gift. You're buying entertainment. You're buying a ticket to the show.
So you think if I watch him, I could learn how to play Fortnite?
No. I mean, you probably could, and it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And when he does come on the show, as long as we don't get bananaed by a good old TikTok again, it would be fun to actually put up some of his gameplay because I can't keep up, and I've been playing Fortnite for a long time, but but that goes back again. It's just people buy people, not products. And so if you are trying to sell a product, you're already losing. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Or again, we've got a lot of great guests that are scheduled.
Oh, 100%.
So if you're tired of listening to Brian and I, that will change.
Yeah.
But we've got a gentleman who is actually he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
For the sport he plays in. And it's crazy. I mean, we're not talking curling on ice. Okay.
It might be.
I'm just saying, but it's interesting because he again, it's the same thing. He is who he is.
Yeah.
He is not changing who he is.
No.
And he's he's created this entrepreneurial brand, and he's going to be on our show here.
I mean,
before long.
This man will go on to a national live televised thing with a Marlboro in his mouth.
Yeah, that was part of his agreement. It says, "Yeah, I'd love to be on your podcast. Would you mind if I smoke a Marlboro and have a whiskey?" And I go, "Nope, that's fine with us."
I don't care.
Because that's part of his brand.
It is. It's who he is, and he doesn't want to change that.
But again, so to your point, if you're on TikTok, you're on social media, and that's your platform.
Yeah.
And that's how say, okay, I want to make my money on this platform. Don't freaking change who you are, right? What you got to do is get excited. You got to get your people excited about promoting you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's got to be always a part of your message. Hey, gosh, Brian, if you like this, you know what you can do to help me out. Tell somebody else that you love this show. Get them signed on here. You got to make what we call it the call to action.
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
What you're doing there. And so I'm just going to say, Brian, if people like Unplugged and Unfiltered and they really like it and they're excited about it, right? Tell other people. But it's kind of the same thing. That's part of what you're calling. But don't change. We're not going to change who we are.
Oh, 100%.
If somebody come in and said, you guys suck, and I really do it, and I go like, I've had people tell me I suck before.
I 100% agree with you. And 98, and this goes back to last week's conversation, right? You agree with their just
absolutely.
You suck.
15% of the people. I don't care if you were Christ himself. 15% of the people say, "Well, you got to prove me you can walk on water again."
Yeah.
And so flip the water over to wine here for me real quick. 15% of the people are going to hate everybody. Haters will be haters.
Yeah.
And I learned that as a speaker. I've been around some really great speakers before, and one of the things I learned is they say 100% of people are never going to like what you say, and so you got to get it out of your head that you care.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't care.
Yeah.
But it's the 85% of people that loved it, and the 15% of people are going to hate anything.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And I don't know who they are. When I said, listen to them, because I have people come up to me all the time. I mean, I've been doing this 40 years.
Yeah.
And they would come up and say, "Hey, can I give you some advice?" And they go, "Sure."
Mm-hmm.
But my next question is, "So how long have you been a professional speaker?" And I go, "I've never done it." And says, "Okay, I'll keep that in mind. So what would you like to do?"
Yeah.
I don't want to demean them.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm going like, okay, I've been doing this for 40 years and I get paid a whole lot of money for an hour. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So sure, share with me. I appreciate you being in my workshop, but whatever they're going to say, I ain't going to listen to.
It'd be like me going up to Dale Earnhardt Jr. after an ask. But hey, I got a word of advice.
I got some suggestions on drafting.
Yeah.
Buying other cars.
How many times have you been doing 200 miles an hour? Well, I
Yeah.
never actually. I played a video game.
Yeah, I played a video game.
It's pretty crazy.
So
Yeah,
that's the
or-
other piece again. You know, you got to kind of block out. This kind of goes back to our original conversation with Cass and Mike. Is you got to block out the haters.
Yeah.
Because you're always going to have, and there's going to be somebody out there as an entrepreneur that's going to tell you, "Oh, you should do this. You should this. You should do this." You got to take it with a grain of salt, right?
Yeah.
You know where you're going. You know what you're trying to do. You got to be excited about it. It's like what we talked about. You got to be excited, passionate, and do it. You know, and then again, sell your dream. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the piece of don't let your freaking dream die.
Absolutely. And that as we're kind of wrapping this up, because this hour has gone incredibly fast for me, at least. I don't know about
It's been
Bob.
the longest hour of my life. Right?
I'm so
I
glad
am not getting paid near enough.
this is the best podcast that you guys have ever listened
ever
to.
listened
It's
to.
the best. But as we're kind of wrapping this up, what I want to say is, first off, the responses we got from last week's podcast about questions and examples of where they were realized that they weren't either mirroring and matching, or times that they did realize, they go, "Oh, I was doing this and I didn't realize that that's what I was doing," or I had an experience with a salesperson and they really drew me in.
Right.
We love hearing all of those, and it helps us actually build what we talk about around what your guys' experiences are. So I will say that if you guys have comments, leave us some comments, send us some information.
Positive comments.
Positive.
I will
We only
not
like
respond
positive.
to negative
We
comments.
only like positive comments. If you tell us something else, we're going to kind of go Happy Gilmore on you.
We're gonna
and
we're
we're
gonna
gonna
forward
tell-
you to Cass and Mike.
Yeah.
No,
And
we're gonna do it. We're gonna forward you to Gary V.
yeah, and
He's gonna respond back to you.
yeah, and but it's so much fun to have the interaction that we have, and I truly appreciate every single person who's on here. Like Bob said, if you do enjoy our podcast, and we have so much fun creating this podcast, even if no one watched it, which no one actually watches it, we're actually just talking because we pretend that people are here.
Yeah.
But no, we actually see that there's quite a few people watching right now. But if you enjoy watching it, send this to a friend.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Follow us on all of our social media channels. So we're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok when we're not bananaed.
Yeah.
But
TikTok hates us, right? I don't know why.
I don't.
I have no idea. We have never done anything offensive. I've seen some offensive shit on TikTok.
Yeah.
We ain't even close
Yeah.
to the most offensive thing they've ever published.
Well, and it's one of those, we got done with a 7-day ban, and then apparently did something in a live stream that we didn't
That
actually, we didn't even have a live stream, and we got another 5-day ban.
Yeah, but TikTok, we love you.
We do.
And I'm going to reach out to Donald Trump to save his ass.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but with that, definitely send us information, send us comments, send us, we would appreciate any follows or subscribes that you guys give us. But at the same time, going back to, with all of this, with the entrepreneurial side of things, if you find sales really interesting, or if this is something that maybe you struggle with, I happen to know someone who wrote a book on sales.
Is that somebody you know?
I think it was Gary V. He wrote, I think it was like left jab, right hook. But,
that's a great marketing book.
It is a
You've
great
never
market.
got that book
It is.
from Gary V.
It's
the ultimate gold on marketing.
It's a great marketing book.
Absolutely.
But if you want to understand sales better, if you want to really expand your entrepreneurial dream and not let your dream just die, reach out to us. Either put a comment in any of our or any of the videos wherever you're watching it, stream or watching the replay of it, or you can send us an email, info@unpluggedunfiltered.com. Let us know, and we will get you a book about sales. And like I said, the author is
I think the book's called The 8 Greatest Sales Secrets in
yeah,
the World.
I just can't remember the actual author, but
I wrote it 15 years ago. I will just say, if you have an interest in it, you reach out to info@unpluggedunfiltered.com.
Yeah.
I will sign a copy and I will send it to you for free.
yeah. So
if you're on this and you're interested in it, I would be tickled to death.
yeah, we would love to, because again, we talked about sales, but the whole purpose of this is encouraging and empowering entrepreneurs to take that step, to take that leap, and then just keep pushing. And that's what we're here for. So again, anybody who's out there who goes, you know what, I'm an entrepreneur.
Both of you.
Yeah. Yeah. All one of you.
Both of you.
If you're interested in that, let us know. We're here to
Yeah,
support
absolutely.
you. And if you want to see more stuff like this on sales, or if there's something else that you want to specifically reach out to us and let us.
Management. I go back again.
Yeah.
So, I built my career on teaching managers how to manage
Yeah.
sales, all things like that. So again, if there's anything like that you'd like to see, I'd love to talk. I mean, I could spend another 8 hours talking about sales.
Yeah. Well, and these have been fun, and they've gone incredibly fast. And we'll probably do another sales one at some point. I know we do have some guests that are coming up. And as cool as they are, they're not as cool as our sales conversations, but
Stop. Don't say that.
they're okay.
They are cool.
They are cool.
We got some
No,
cool people.
We have
coming
some incredible guests that are going to be joining us in the upcoming episodes. So definitely stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe so you get all of the notifications for our next lives. And we appreciate every single one of you. But with that, it is we are over by 3 minutes and probably going to get another 5-day banana. So
I don't care.
but at this point, we don't really care. So with that, we are going to unplug. You all have an incredible night, and we will catch you next week right here at 7 p.m. Central Time for another episode of Unplugged Unfiltered. Bob, thank you. Good night.
It's fun.
See you guys next week.
Our aim never disappoint, so we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now, waiting for the opportune time to show them this new power of mine. When woods is where we landed, we're 2 rows and next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When woods is where we landed, we're 2 rows and next to be commended. We're taking down